Peace and blessings, everybody. Um, do I need to? Is my audio okay? Testing, testing, testing. Yeah. Okay. So I am doing something different today, and I do once a month. I have a segment on Right the Wrong Coalition brought to you by Dr. Chinchilla Jonisha. She resides in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And man, I love my elders. She's been going hard in the paint, 30 years and rocking. And how I met Dr. Jonisha is through Ali Shabazz. And Ali is an old school friend. I met him in seventh, eighth grade. So this is over 30 years ago. And now, with all the modern technology, um, they have devices in the inside of the prison systems. And he reached out to me. And when I saw his name, immediately I knew who he was because, I mean, who has a name Ali Shabazz, right? So um, we had a brief conversation via Messenger, and he kept saying, "Watch the video, watch the video." And me being busy and all the things that I had to do, and at the time I was going through transition and healing, so it took me a little while to watch the video. But when I finally watched the video, it was an interview with his father, um, Ali Shabazz Sr. Okay, well, we're tuning in. I've got about 3 minutes, and I'll have to just chime you in. Maybe I should have just did an introduction while I do the introduction on my broadcast. But I'm about to go live on talk radio, and I'm already live on Conversations with Queens. So thank you very much for tuning in. Today is going to be a very heartfelt, spirit led message, and I pray that the message reaches those that it is intended for. If you want to call in to listen, the number is 717-734-6904. The show ID is 862-9999 £1 is the PIN number, and *2 to talk. Hello, hello, hello.
Get into that, of course. It's your proprietor, Dr. Lieutenant Malay, with those who work to another outstanding edition of the Mind Crushers Network with the wonderful CEO, Dr. Chinchilla Janisha. And we're out in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and we're going to make sure all lines are clear. No, sister, can you hear me?
I'm here, Dr. O.
Outstanding results. Quarter of the second call letters, y'all. They've been in Nigeria in 4 seconds.
Recording started.
Peace and blessings. Welcome to Mind Crushers Network, brought to you by our lovely CEO, Dr. Chinchilla Jonisha, the Queen of Justice. You are now tuned in to Escaping the Matrix. I'm your host, Media Queen, broadcasting live out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, by way of Arizona on the ONE universe. My topic tonight is Unite and Fight. Those of you tuned in on the World Wide Web can call in at 717-734-6904, then enter our show ID, which is 862-9999 £1 is the pin, and *2 if you want to chime in and have your voice heard as well. Thank you so much for receiving me this wonderful Wednesday. And before I do anything, I always give honor to God, to our Creator, to the one and only true living God. So, right now, Heavenly Father, Spirit of the living God, fall fresh on me. Remove any worry, any anxiety, any fear. Flow through me and deliver the message that you intend for me to bring. I thank you for your keeping power. I thank you for your mercy and your grace. I thank you for being a hedge of protection, not only over me, but over everything connected to me. Father, as always, we uplift and pray for those that are wrongfully incarcerated. Let them know that there are those of us on the outside that still fight for their freedom. We hear their cries, we hear their pleas. They're not falling on deaf ears. And we're going to do everything not in our power, but in your power and the authority that you give us to make a difference. And in your holy, precious name, Father, I pray. Amen. Thank you guys so much for receiving me. Today, my topic is Unite and Fight. Um, this will be my last broadcast before election. Election day is um, what now? 19 days away, 20 days away, something to that effect. And it is going to be life changing. It's going to be game changing, but not in the sense that we think. Um, Either parties, I know everyone has their opinions, and a lot of us melanated people are rooting for Kamala to step into office and um, deliver some justice, some equality, some retribution for those of us of color. And we all know that's not happening. We all know that the only reason that now, so less than 2, 3 weeks away, now she's pushing a black man agenda. Now she wants to recognize um, the mistreatment of the black man in society, the underdog that he has always been, the strong back and very, very underappreciated, undervalued piece of this puzzle. And I want y'all to understand something, that not only were the foundations of this country set and laid on the backs of the black man, but every other continent across this planet has benefited, has only thrived, and only is the greatness that it is because of the black man. Not taking anything away from the strength and the awesomeness and the power of the black woman, but we're nothing in comparison. And it's not even about comparing, because You can't compare two things that have very specific functions. And I think that a lot of what is wrong in the culture, what's going on in the culture, is because we are comparing apples and oranges, and it makes no sense. And no matter how many conversations we have, it's never going to make sense because that wasn't the design. That's never been the design. But the design of where we are in current day is designed to emasculate the black man, to discriminate against the black man, to incarcerate the black man, to strip away the very essence of the black man. And until we recognize we don't need to fight for women's rights, because if our men were in the positions that they need to be in, there would be no fight. We wouldn't have to work, not in the sense that they say. We wouldn't have to beg and plead and riot and rally for our respect, for our positions, because it would go without saying. What's understood doesn't have to be explained. But we've come away from roots, from foundations that have been laid very plain and simple from the beginning of time. So we've got to get back to, no matter how modern this day and age may be, God's laws will never change. We can't bend them to adhere to modern standards because modern standards are designed for one purpose, and that's to lead you down a path of destruction. So if that's where you want to go, you go right ahead. But as for me and my house, I'm going to share with you my affirmations, what and who God has told me I am, and what I know to be true. I am not an employee, nor am I merchandise, collateral, or commerce. I know who I am. And from this day forward, I exercise my God given right to separate myself from a land that defies the laws and commandments set forth for me to exist. Not broken, I am complete, fearfully and wonderfully made, created for purpose only known by my Creator, who is King of all kings, Lord of all lords. I am daughter of the Almighty Yeshua HaMashiach, daughter of King, his princess in heaven. And on this earthly realm, I am queen. When I asked, see, when you really dive into this spiritual walk, because we don't fight against flesh. You might think that you're fighting in flesh. And if you get into a flesh fight, it doesn't do any good. It doesn't benefit you. It doesn't get you anywhere but closer to destruction, really. But when you understand that this is spiritual. Because guess who else understands that this is spiritual? Our oppressors understand that this is spiritual. Why do you think there's so much violence? Why do you think there's so much innocent bloodshed? Why do you think there's so many men in those prison systems? Why do you think they keep the Black man from the position of rulership? Why do you think that is? Because the spiritual force that a man that knows himself has far supersedes anything you can ever do to anyone in the flesh. So they keep us running in circles. They keep us inundated with long jobs, long hours. They keep us inundated with fear and a spirit of fear every 5 seconds, every 10 seconds, showing Black man being gunned down, Black man being suffocated to death. Why do you think? In other countries, they don't even allow those kinds of things on their televisions. They don't allow that. But here they do. Why? Because if they keep us in that spirit of fear, and not just that spirit of fear, but the spirit of division. And let me show you, let me tell you, very plain as day, what God revealed to me when they showed that police officer executing Sonia Massey. When she cried out and she said, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. I rebuke you." And within seconds, after, right on camera. And then, no matter how many petitions went in, no matter how many phone calls, no matter how many people lobbied, no matter how many people gathered, no matter how many people rallied, no matter how much information they had to show that that man was without a doubt innocent of everything that they accused him of, still lethally injected him, took his life, had already taken his life for all the years that he spent incarcerated, waiting for freedom to come. And his freedom, Father in heaven, coming when his life was taken. Muslim brother. So here you have Christianity. You have Islamic faith. These people saying, "In God we trust," on the back of that dollar. But do you really think, if you're a person, if you're a being that really believes in the God that we serve, would you take an innocent, defenseless, helpless woman's life? Would you take a strong man's life that's already given his life and just sift them like weed? That sounds more like, yeah, their God is the enemy. And the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So that's why I say we have to unite. Not just faiths, but worlds, countries. I am really, as an ambassador of the kingdom of light, I am pleading to all of my sovereign leaders that represent truth and peace and justice to intercede for us, to intervene for us, to come to aid of the children of the Most High, the children of the one and only true living God. I don't care what name, because what is a different name but a different dialect? There's only and will ever be one true living God. So here today, I make that declaration to all my foreign leaders, to all ambassadors, United Nations, our brothers and sisters in Ghana, Africa, China, Japan. Their beef, nobody's beef has ever been with us. The places, the countries, the continents that have a bone to pick with this establishment, because the United States of America is not a country, it's a corporation. Prison systems are a corporation. School systems are a corporation. The FDA is a corporation. Big Pharma is a corporation. They're all corporations. And guess who's the chattel? Guess who the commerce is? We are the commerce. We are the commerce moving the commerce. We are the commerce consuming the commerce. How can you ever win in a situation like that? When not only are you being bought and paid for, but you turning around and you using everything you got to put back into there. How can you ever expect to have anything when your whole existence is a never-ending rat race and a hamster wheel? Work your fingers to the bone, expel all your energy, can't take a breath to even have an independent thought of who it is that God created you to be. Because we are all created with individual purpose, plan, something that is so amazing and outstanding that if you just tapped in just a little bit and know that you yourself can change the world. That's my mindset. That's always been my mindset. I don't care how poor and broke I was coming up. I don't care how poor and broke I am now. Financially, but spiritually, I don't even need money because I just command and demand the universe to come into agreement. If it's God's will, it's going to come to you, whatever you need. But when you're so busy living for other people, doing what other people tell you to do, when you're so busy being part of forced work, because that's all the workforce is, you're never going to get to that. And by the time that you look up, your life is expended, your days are short, you got foggy memory, you can't even hear the voice of God. A lot of times, and unfortunately, a lot of these lives are being taken because it's so much noise that they can't hear their spiritual man saying, no, don't go there today. No, take an alternate route to work. No, you might not want to do that. But when everything around you is just noise, distraction, do not be deceived, because this right now, this here right now is a distraction. They know just like we know. Planets are aligning. These curses and strongholds, glory to God, they're already broken. They've already been broken. But God says, this is what? This is what God says. The Spirit of the Lord, the sovereign Lord, is on me, because the Lord has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives and release from darkness for the prisoners, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all who mourn and provide for those who grieve in Zion, to bestow on them a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, and a garment of praise instead of a spirit of despair. They will be called oaks of righteousness, a planting of the Lord for the display of his splendor. This is what the Lord says. But if you don't believe it, then you can't receive it, because faith without works is dead. And I've always been one that has radical faith. I never put my faith in man. I never put my faith in the things that I can see, because if it's tangible, then that means I can't put my faith in that. It can crumble at any point, at any given moment in time. It can crumble. But if I put my faith in the things that I cannot see, and that spiritual realm where the creation of everything comes from, where the void is, because let me tell you something about that void. It's not a void. Everything, everything exists in the void. You just can't see it because it's dark. But when you shine a light on it, there it is. Everything. And I mean everything. But if you don't believe that there's something in that void for you, it's not going to manifest. If you're not old enough in your spirit to say, hey, something's wrong with this picture here. I'm not going to go along to get along. What is that? I'm not going to be complacent. I'm not going to, no, don't speak. Don't say this. Don't say that, because the police, they might come and get you. They might come beat down your door. If you tell what? Because this is how I am with it. I believe in extreme justice. An eye for an eye. That's the old way. Those are the ways. You throw one of my elders down to the floor and stomp and beat and kick on them. Let me go get where your mama at. And let me go stomp and whoop and beat on her. And see how you like it. Then, oh my God, they're savages. They're wild. But we've been watching it for centuries and centuries and centuries. But they just get passes. But let one white person, let somebody put hands on one of theirs. Oh, we're not gonna find them. Even the police, they not finna book him into custody. He gonna be buried somewhere in the desert, and probably not even buried, just shot, dead, killed, and they're gonna pin it on somebody else. But we not smart enough. We not brave enough. We not bold enough to get that radical with it. I don't know what y'all think this is. I know y'all don't think with all these rallies and these protests and all this empty stuff going on that we really going to get the justice and the treatment that we deserve. Mm-mm. We're going to have to think outside the box. And another thing we're going to have to know how to do is we're going to have to learn how to communicate off waves, underground. How you think all them slaves got free? They used what? They used what God made. They used those stars. They used those constellations to chart their maps to freedom. They didn't rely on GPS and T-Mobile and Sprint. No, they used every resource, everything that God made to get them to freedom. And that's what we're going to have to do. We can't expect for anything man made to benefit us because they are the opposition. Will I trade it? Absolutely. Yes, nice houses, nice cars, and all that good stuff. But would I give that up to know that my boys will never, ever have to worry a day about a police officer putting a knee in their neck or a bullet in their back just because of the color of their skin? To live a life, go to school, get a good job, and do what with that? Because at the end of the day, you helping somebody else build your empire. When we gonna start building our empire? When we going to say time out on these labels and design? I don't see anything. I can't wait to get my hands on some even a decent amount. Not gonna cry over spilled milk. I sent money to Kenya and Nairobi for authentic kente material. I ain't met a designer yet that has produced the visions that God says to me, you're royalty. My daddy has a train, a procession following him. I want to be like that. I want you to look at me, and in five seconds, you know every piece, every part of my human anatomy. That's not who God created us to be. But until we know who we are for ourselves, caller number one, you're live. Thank you for tuning in to Unite and Fight.
Hi, sweetie. It's Jerry Petito.
Oh, hey, Jerry. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I just love your voice. You have such a beautiful voice.
Oh, bless you. Thank you.
You really do. You really do. And, everything you're saying is just true. And, you know, we got to give it all to God because, especially at this point in time with what's going on in this freaking world, I always say, Jesus, take the wheel, because it's just getting more and more angrier and just more and more corruption, and it's just horrible.
It is. It absolutely is. And it is. It's sad, but at the same time, he wants us to keep our joy. He wants
Yeah.
us to be confident and know. That's the thing about God. And that's what I love so much is that we have to know in all assurity that we are in an age, we are in the dawn of a new era. And it's going to be for God's people. The wicked have ruled far long enough, far long enough. And we've got to take it back. But that's the key part. We can't go asking and begging and pleading. We got to take it back, right?
We got to take it back. See, that's the thing. Listen, I always talk to God about things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, I always say things like this. You know what, Lord? I would end up in jail if I was if I saw someone hurting someone else, if I saw that, I'd end up in jail. And I'm like, Lord, forgive me for thinking this way, but I don't know how else to think at this point. Because I have to take action too.
Yeah.
I'm not the person to just sit back and let all this horrible stuff happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel the same way.
And I think, I wish more people would act.
And we have to, because at the end of the day, we are God's children, are all God's children. I don't care what shade you are. I don't care what color you come in. I don't care what, if you serve God and you love God, the way that we said, we're supposed to stand our ground and fight. How do you think David slew Goliath? He knew that in his strength that he didn't have a chance. But he said, you know what? I'm going to take that chance. I don't care how big this monster is. He's defying. He's slandering. He's offending my Father. Because God is more than God. God, that's my daddy.
That's right.
You know? So if you say something, you do something, you get out of line, I'm going to say, hey, you're not my friend, you my foe. And when you let God, see, David let God fight that battle. He just used him as a vessel. And that's what we have to get back to. We have to learn, just like how I'm delivering this message right now. This isn't, I don't know what God was going to give me to say. I didn't have anything planned, anything prompted, but I said, God, you use me to say what you want me to say, to do what you want me to do. If my God says you take a life, I'm taking it. And I'm not going to worry about what the consequences are, right? Well, I thank you. I thank you, Jerry, for calling and tuning in. You're always a wonderful support, and we're going to get together. I have a feeling, we're yes.
God bless you for what you're doing.
Thank you so much, Jerry. Do we have another caller in queue? Okay. All right. So I can continue delivering my message. But like I was telling Jerry, if you scared, God can't use nobody that's scared, because guess what? The fear is from the devil. So if you got fear in you, you got something demonic in you. God can't use anything that's demonic, but you can command it. We have to understand what God has given us dominion and authority over. We don't have. And that's a revelation in itself that God gave me. You want to know why and how David split Goliath's head open with that rock? Because first, when he went up to battle, his brother had gave him his big old helmet that he couldn't see. He couldn't get his aim right. He couldn't, because he was a little thing, you know. He was a short stack. And he like, man, I got all this heavy stuff on. Man, let me take this back. Let me take this off and get to my roots. And what were his roots? His slingshot and his rock. The things that God made. God made the rocks. So guess what? It wasn't just David fighting Goliath. It was the rock too. The rock got offended and said, you know what? You put your mouth on my daddy. I'm finna show you. Me and little man right here. Yeah, let me show you what my daddy can do. So with the faith that David had, using the things that God gave him, he launched that rock and it went straight through from front to back. Can you imagine what kind of force that would take? If you threw a rock at somebody and it went from the front of their back, of their head clear out the back, Pow! Just blew his head wide open. And then David took the Goliath sword, chopped his head off, and held his head over his body. Because when you decapitate somebody, their retina still attached, they can still see. So Goliath knew that his severed head was looking down at his body. What? And you say, my God ain't gangster? What? We gotta get. We gotta get that faith and that strength of the 300 of them Spartans. Because that ain't a story about Sparta and ancient Rome. What? That's Joshua and his camp. Take 300 men and go down there and defeat them 40,000. Because guess what? God works in exponents of 10. Caller number 2, you're live.
Good evening, sister. How are you?
Peace and blessings. I am well, brother. How are you?
I'm great. Just always work, but I just was letting you know I call in to support your show, and I love your show, and very interesting as usual, especially because God is always at the foremost of all your conversations and shows.
Yeah.
So that's much absolutely. I just wanted to let you know I'm here. I'm supporting you, and you have a great show going on as usual. And the fact that we on the same network.
Thank you. You're on tomorrow. You're on tomorrow, right?
Yeah, with my show tomorrow, and hopefully everything will be going well.
Not hopefully, it will. And I want to tell you right now that whatever it is that you're going through, God has already delivered your blessing. You just have to walk into it. Stop doing it. That's what you have to learn. You got to stop doing it in your strength and let God take the wheel. Lay down and get you some rest and stop running. Be still and know that God is God. I'm going to tune in to you tomorrow, brother. And with that being said, it is Queen Chinchilla time.
Stay tuned for Walking in Purpose tonight at www.blogtalkradio.com on these WNH.
Okay. All right, everybody. Hey, this is Dr. Chinchilla Delicia, the Queen of Justice and the CEO of the Mind Questions Network. Awesome show tonight, Narcissa, with Unite and Fight. And yes, we definitely have to unite and fight. People, we have to come together as a people, no matter the race, color, creed, or nationality. People are people. We're all human beings, and it's time to unite and fight so that we can make a change in this world and change things within this government that living, those of us in America are living under a government that's horrible and filled with corruption. And governments are like that around the world as well. So we have to unite and fight, people. So excellent show tonight, Narcissa. I really enjoyed it. Everybody, tune in tomorrow night as Pennsylvania Historical Gallery Vince Moto closes out the Mind Questions Network week with his show Chaos. And tomorrow his show is entitled, I believe, Juvenile Lifers, Survival Behind the Walls, with special guesting 2 lifers serving lifetime sentences, of course, since the age of 16. And now they're both in their 50s, everybody. So they're going to talk about surviving behind the walls under those circumstances, knowing that they're never getting out of prison. One is wrongfully incarcerated. The other is right. Last night was Ouch with me and my mommy. And on Monday night was Ricky G's show, Metamorphosis. And tonight, of course, we're tuned in to Narcissa with their show Escaping the Matrix. Our next Mind Crushers Network week will be the week of November 11th. So 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th will be the next Mind Crushers Network week, everybody. So we invite you to tune into that. But tonight, again, Narcissa, wonderful, unite and fight, everybody. Narcissa, you have 4.5 minutes left in the show. Back to you. Unmuted.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Chinchilla. Thank you so much, Dr. O. I am really doing my due diligence to take up my mantle and be the fresh-spirited fighter that you need. I respect and love my elders. I would give my life for any one of you. What I wanted to end with was something that the Spirit of the Lord put on me on October the 31st, which we know was a pagan holiday. It's a satanic holiday. On October the 31st, people, we need to be gathering. Very specifically, we need to be gathering in groups of 10, wearing all white. If you have linen, cotton, or silk, that would be favored. If not, come as you are. But groups of 10, you need to gather with an open flame or a lighter and just call out, collectively. Say, God, restore us to your sight, release us of the sins of our ancestors, of the idolatry, release us of the idolatry, bring us out of this wicked place. Give us favor over our enemies. This is the prayer, and this is what he has told me to share. I've been sharing it across my platforms, and we have to do it because not only is it a holiday for them, but they're going to be out looking for souls to slaughter. There's so many missing children. That's all on my Facebook timeline. There's all these missing babies. Now they're snatching up our men, they're snatching up our elders, and they are going missing by the boatloads. So we have got to, if you take any of this seriously, please start at the first light of the moon and at least an hour or two, groups of 10 on Halloween, groups of 10 on Halloween. And not only that, but be mindful, be watchful, because you might be the person that stops a child from being kidnapped. Thank you so much for tuning in to Escaping the Matrix. I am Media Queen, and I love you all. God bless. Oh, and don't forget to tune in to my brother's show tomorrow.
Goodbye.
All right. So that is how the talk radio goes. And I think on that note, I'll be signing off of my live stream just for a little while to gather my thoughts, say some prayers. That really hit me hard. I got a chance to talk to this gentleman who's 52 now, and he's been incarcerated since he was 16 years old. And now, 16 and 17, they're trying these young men like adults and putting them in these prisons, these men prisons. And I don't even want to. I've got to give that, Father God, you take it right now because I can't bear it. But these are the things. It should have been hundreds of us, thousands of us. I've got reliable transportation now. So if I got to get on the highway and show up, knocking, which it's about time for me to get down to Georgia to my brother Ali Shabazz. He's been 23 years fighting for his freedom. No, it's not, romantic involvement. Sometimes, when God puts you in positions, it's not for what you think it's for. And I understand absolutely that man deserves every blessing that he has coming to him. And he's got blessings coming to him. Family, turn it backs. Because a lot of times it's just too much to bear. They feel like they can't fight this fight. They can't win against that system. His father, that was his last show. As I was explaining to you earlier when he sent me that video, his father died 2021. Then his mother or stepmother, and then his grandmother. So all of his generations, all his lineage died before they could see him see the light of day. So that's my vow as my friend, my brother in faith. I'm going to help fight that fight. I've written already, got calls in to, and the Innocence Project, the Georgia Innocence Project, has reopened his case for the second time because now they understand, the Georgia prison system is just hiding information, hiding evidence. They know will free and exonerate him because, and this is what I want to press and stress, every person of color, man and woman, because our women are in those prisons too. Every person of color, upon their release, they should be met at those gates with a civil rights attorney. Because I know without a shadow of a doubt that every last one of their constitutional rights have been violated. And a lot of times they keep those men and those women wrongfully incarcerated because they don't want to give them that money. That's all that is. But we've got to, on this side, make our demands. No way. Now that I know what I know and how I know, and now that my spirit of fight has never been louder and more vicious, I don't care who come at me with what. Because guess what? Like I said, I control. God gave us dominion over the land, over the beasts of the land, over the fowl in the air, over the fish in the sea. What? Are you gonna fight me with guns? I'm gonna call some of these. I'm gonna call my homies, Mr. Eagle and Mr. Falcon, to come dig your eyeballs right out your skull while you think you bad with that gun and that pistol. I'm gonna have the ground swallow you up. What? Yeah, we got that kind of power, ain't it? Ain't it crazy? I can never understand when I get in a spirit of rage, and God told me you gotta calm down. Because you got storms brewing. Anytime my feelings get hurt, I feel away, wind and rain out of nowhere. And I said, is that coincidence? No, that ain't coincidence. That's you. So like I said, I'm Daddy's princess. And Daddy's princess says, I'm tired. I'm tired of seeing my sisters hurting. Tired of seeing my brothers hurting. Fighting for you ain't got to fight. And what? I'ma just claim. I ain't got to fight you. Well, I dare you. This is mine, and I say it's mine, and I'm taking it. And I dare you to take it from me. Because you're not taking it from me. You fighting God. You don't want to give me my space? Okay. Hey, big homie up there. Yeah. Because I keeps my arsenal. My big brother up there in that corner. Post it. Let me know at all times what's going on. I don't have to be. God is everywhere all the time. And if I am one with God, guess who else is everywhere all the time? Yeah, you got it like that. I done been up there to those cosmos. I miss Orion's belt where I can sit and have conversations with my elders who, oh my God, if you only knew. Big indigo, glowing, brazen warriors, size of this planet. That's what God say. Heaven is my throne. Earth is my footstool. My daddy's so big, his foot take up this whole doggone planet, then some. And guess who else do too? Yay. This one right here. So come and get some. Yeah. I ain't afraid. Not afraid of no enemy. Enemy afraid of me. And guess what? I ain't finna wait for nobody to come and get me. I ain't finna be, what? You ain't finna, what? That's how you do. You gotta learn as people how to shut up and move. Bring all this calamity, all this noise, and all this. Shut up. Do it moving. In and out. That's how God's spirit works. You got time for all that talking, all that orchestrating, all that rah-rah and all. That ain't God's spirit. That's your spirit. And you ain't doing nothing. No. So, like I said, this election, they might think, it might look like they got the upper hand, but the spirit of the living God and his spirit of vengeance and his spirit of retribution and his spirit, see, God's spirit, like I said, is bringing. Why all these men making these missions and all these women making these missions, and it's all about healing, and it's all about, because they got it. We got it partly. But the beautiful thing is going to be when we come together and fight. You can't get through a door with one foot. No. But if we take all our feet, we kicking through that door. So we got to learn that. And I'm thankful and I'm grateful that it's going to be more men humbling themselves, more women humbling themselves. Because now it ain't about the money. And they already showing you. They already showing us. We don't care how much money you niggas got, you still niggas. We still gonna throw you up under this jail whenever we want to. How is it that jails and prisons even still exist? How is it? But that's gonna be another conversation for another kind of meeting. Because we need to start having other kind of meetings. Yeah. Because I might look, I don't know how I look. I think I'm doing okay. I don't know, with this whole makeup thing and all this stuff going on, and it's just eyeshadow and stuff. But I'm going to spend a little bit, 15, 20 minutes. I'm like the military. You get 15 minutes to do what you need to do to S and S. 15 minutes. But I do okay. But at any rate, what I was saying was, I might seem very polished, and I am very polished. I'm educated. I love reading. I love learning something new every day. Just like how God gave me that message. I was in that rock that David threw. Guess what? I'm gonna be in. I'm gonna be in your weapons too, princess. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you, I'm daddy's girl. My papa spoiled me rotten. He absolutely do spoil me rotten, and I love it. But guess what? I'm a writer. I'm not gonna say on these cameras because I'm from that NBOTP, that no business over the phone era. That you know what I mean. We off way, you know, take them cell phones, turn them off. You can't take the bat. They made it to where you can't take the batteries out. That's okay. I'm finna put it in a steel trap. I'm finna turn it off. I'm finna power it off, and it's gonna be outside somewhere while I'm having my necessary conversations. And if you're smart, you want to do that too. Yeah, yeah, it's freedom of speech, all right. But our freedom's being violated every day, every minute. Our Privacy Act. What Privacy Act? What? We should be rich off that in itself. I didn't turn location services off on my phone so many times. I get tired of turning location services on everything. All these apps want to track. All these Googles want to track. This want to track. Apple want to track. Apple. What you want to know so much about me for, and I don't get to know nothing about you? No, keep your phone, homie. You need to go to, you know, things like walkie talkies or world phones. Let me get my hands on a world phone like I used to have. I want nothing from the United States network. Give me one of them phones that come from Japan, China, overseas somewhere. Because everything that we doing, they monitoring, they watching, they tracking. Somewhere, it's somebody watching me. I don't care. Because y'all already know who I am. They know me on Capitol Hill. They know me in these federal courts. And I used to have such a spirit of worry and anxiety and fear. Oh, gosh, I can't get no legal representation. That's another thing that we got to look into. Can't get no legal representation. I got to fight my own landlord, bad car salesman. I'm writing a letter to the dealership manager of BMW as we speak, because now my name getting out there. Now people say, "Oh, we see you. I thank you for seeing me." But I'm not doing it for glitz or glory or fame. I like to introduce some new fashion concepts. Yeah, because there's a way that you can do it and still do it. There's a way that you can be considered. I don't want to be. You can keep your bad bitches. Oof. No. I want to be I am a good woman. Princess in heaven. Royalty. And if you knew you the way that you need to, you'd think the same way. You'd feel the same way. You want to cover up every piece and every part. I'm going to start even covering up my face and my hair. Because I'm a treasure. timeless, priceless. But I know that about myself. Most women don't know that about themselves. Just like our men don't know that they're kings, they're conquerors, that the world bows. All you got to do is tell the universe what to do, and the universe will do it for you. Tell the universe what you want it to do. But more importantly, why do you want it? Why do you want to rule? Do you want to rule just because it sounds good? You got a big ego? Or do you want to rule so you can help the poor, free the prisoners, feed the hungry? Yeah, those are reasons that qualify you to be a righteous ruler, to come into authority. So make sure that the conditions of your heart are right. Make sure that you're emulating goodness, grace, mercy, forgiveness, not judging, not condemning, not ostracizing. Always lead with love. I picked that right. I was thinking like, well, what would be snazzy? What would be something for me to say for a caption on my show? Always. That's what my daddy taught me. Always lead with love. I love you guys, and I have to go to the bathroom, have my quiet time, and thank my papa for giving me the courage to come on the show and keep doing it. And now, jazzing it up a bit, because this is my full-time job, right? I got closet. Oh my gosh. Oof. Y'all haven't seen coats, shoes. I like hats. So in some of these episodes, you're gonna see some hats that you what? What I wear requires you're gonna have to give me a wide berth. Yeah, because my apparel takes up space, just like I take up space. Yeah. Have fun. We have to. That changes things. Laughter is food for the soul. It's food for the earth, food for the universe. The universe responds to laughter and love and celebrations in good ways, not celebrations filled with drinks and liquor and spirits and brothels and orgies and no, good things, pure celebrations, worshiping, praising, doing everything, being high on the spirit. I don't need no iron. I'm already creased. I have so much fun. Oh my gosh. I went with we must have checked the whole, and I told him that. I'm gonna get off of here. But I told him that when we went to that club in Scottsdale, I said, light, what does light have in common with darkness? Now it was necessary for that reason for me to show my nephew, you ain't missing nothing. I know you work hard, he works hard, he's a professional mover, man. He if I ever want everything in this, no, that's between him and my son, the only ones that can move it. Stuff that you need teams of people to assemble them too. That's it. I don't need no professional movers. Them two together can lift up this entire house by themselves. But he wanted to go and have some fun because his birthday is coming up. And I hadn't seen, gosh, I told him, look at the grown man that you are. And I used to wipe your tail. But we didn't have a good time at all. Oh, Soldier Boy was in the bill. So Soldier Boy give you permission to be rude. Guess who getting checked? Everybody getting checked. And if I see Soldier Boy, he getting checked too. Thank you, somebody, because of that. I shut the whole place down. Don't disrespect my family and treat us rude. I'll see to it that you never make another dime dollar in that establishment. And I haven't posted that or shared that just because, no, I'm going to save that one for later. Well, it's been a great show. I thank you all for tuning in to Conversations with Queen. I pray that you all know how truly blessed and highly favored that you are, that God has already given you your position, but you have to claim it. So get to claiming some things. Get to declaring to the universe what it is that you want, what it is that you desire. But above all things, always pray for God's will. Because God will give you what you want and what you desire. And most of the time, it never is what you think it's going to be. But if we go with His plans to prosper us and not to harm us, to bring us to an expected end, yes, if we go with God's plans, God will take you on a magic carpet ride. Oh, I can't wait. I love you. I love you all. Peace and blessings.